Secondary education normally takes place in secondary schools, taking place after primary education and may be followed by higher education or vocational training. In some countries, only primary or basic education is compulsory, but secondary education is included in compulsory education in most countries. Terminology: secondary schools may be called high schools, gymnasia, lyceums, middle schools, sixth form colleges, vocational schools, or preparatory schools, and the exact meaning of any of these varies between the countries. By country: Argentina. The school system is free and mandatory. Australia. School is compulsory in Australia between the ages of 5 or 16 or 17, depending on the state, with, in recent years, over 3/4 of people staying on until their 13th year in school. Government schools educate about 2/3 of Australian students, with the other third in independent schools. Government schools are free, although most schools charge what are known as voluntary contributions, or tax levies, while independent schools, both religious and secular, charge fees as well as levies. Regardless of whether a school is government or independent, it is required to adhere to the same curriculum frameworks. Most school students, be they in government or independent school, usually wear uniforms, although there are varying expectations and a few school exceptions. Each state and territories has its own format of Year 12 matriculation: Australian Capital Territory, ACT Year 12 Certificate; South Australia, South Australian Certificate of Education; Northern Territory, Senior Secondary Studies Certificate/Northern Territory Certificate of Education; Queensland, Queensland Certificate of Education; New South Wales, Higher School Certificate; Tasmania, Tasmanian Certificate of Education; Victoria, Victorian Certificate of Education or Victorian Certificate of Applied Learning; Western Australia, Western Australian Certificate of Education; Belgium. For more details see Education in Belgium. Secondary education: the Belgian school has a 3-tier education system, each stage being divided into various levels. Basic education. Nursery school: for children aged 3 to 6 €, is not compulsory. Primary school: for children aged 6 to 12 €, is compulsory. Secondary education: there are 3 cycles: post-secondary education, organized by universities or schools of higher education, but also by adult education institutions; 3-year further education at bachelor level; 5-year further education at master's level. Brazil. In Brazil, since 1996, high school is officially called Ensino Mar Copyright do. Until the year 1971, Ensino Mar Copyright do had 3 different names: Curso Científico, Curso Normal and Curso Clásico. As a result, the course was changed after and called Colegial, also divided, with the first 3 years were the same for everyone, and anyone who would subsequently make the old Normal and Clásico had to do another year. Historically, in Brazil, is called the secondary, what is now the second part of the school together with the high school. It is the last phase to basic education. Brazilian high school lasts 3 years, attempting to deepen what students have learned in the Ensino Fundamental. Brazilian high school students are referenced by their year first, second and third years. Unlike other countries, Brazilian students don't have a final test to conclude studies. Their approval depends only on their final grade on each subject. Each university elaborates its own test to select new students This test, the vestibular, generally happens once a year. ENEM, a non-mandatory national exam, evaluates high school students in Brazil and is used to rank both private and public schools. The best scores in vestibular and in ENEM do G1, M São Paulo. G1, vestibular e de Picavolta Paulo, nota CIAS, VJAR as 20 melhores escolas do País no ENEM 2007 inches. G1.globo.com. Retrieved September 25, 2011. In the best universities are concentrated on the southern and southeastern regions of the country, mainly in the states of São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Minas Gerais, Espírito Santo, Rio Grande do Sul, Santa Catarina and Paraná, and in the Federal District. The lack of funds and historical and social problems contribute to poor attendance from the students, especially those in public schools. Private establishments, on the other hand, may be recognized as academically excellent or merely as investments in social networking. Schedules vary from school to school. The subjects taught, however, are conceived by the Minister Copyright Rio da Educar Picavolt .0, which emphasizes the hard sciences. The educational year begins in February and finishes in December. Institutions are permitted to define their own actual start and end dates. They must, however, provide at least 200 days of classes per year. Universities are also divided into public and private. At this level, public ones are considered excellent and their vestibular exam is highly competitive. For better preparation, therefore, many students take a Curso Pra Copyright Vestibular, which is offered by large private high schools. Colombia. Secondary education in Colombia is divided into two. Basic secondary that goes from year 6 to 9, and mid-secondary that are grades 10 and 11. In Colombia, education has always been mandatory, but it wasn't until 2012 that all education for kids and teens was made free of charge at any public institution. Cyprus. 1.1 General overview of education stages. Cyprus has a three-tier educational system, each stage being divided into specific levels: basic education, nursery not obligatory, pre-primary school at the age of 5, children normally attend the pre-primary class, which prepares them to join primary school. Primary school has 6 grades. Secondary education, gymnasium. After primary school, students attend the lower secondary school, which has 3 grades. Neo-Liceo or Unified Lyceum. Post-secondary education, public tertiary institutions or universities, Czech Republic. The Czech school system is, due to historic reasons, almost the same as the German school system. The school system is free and mandatory to age 15. After the Základná Angstrom Škola in age of 15, students are directed to 3 different optional secondary education schools: STAR and registered trademark Edna Odbina copyright Waliat are designed for students going into a trade education as 3 years long and entrance exam free, combined with practice, finished with a certificate. STAR and registered trademark Edna Odbina Angstrom Škola, designed for students going into a profession and finishes with maturita as exit exam. The leaving exam consists of 2 compulsory and 2 optional subjects. Compulsory subjects are Czech language and world literature and 1 other language. Optional ones depend on the type of school. The study is 4 years long and you need to pass an entrance exam, gymnasium, designed for students going to university college and finishes with a maturita exam. Also with 2 mandatory subjects: Czech language and world literature and 1 other language or math. Optional subjects vary, usually between humanistic and science. The study is 4, 6 or 8 years long. In case of 6 years 1, the pupils finish elementary school 2 years earlier, and this 2 years has harder studying program on gymnasium. There are also entry exams to all these programs. The maturita is required for study in university. The abita from gymnasium is better for humanistic pointed university, and so abita is better for technical pointed university. Croatia. Secondary education is now compulsory. Secondary schools in Croatia are subdivided into gymnasiums with 4 available educational tracks. Prirodoslovno Matematika Gymnazija, Jezierna Gymnazija, Klasiana Gymnazija and Opera Gymnazija. Vocational schools. Gymnasiums, schools of economics and schools of engineering take 4 years. There are also some vocational schools that last only 3 years. Secondary schools supply students with primary subjects needed for the necessary work environment in Croatia. People who completed secondary school are classified as medium expertise. There are currently around 90 gymnasiums and some 300 vocational schools in Croatia. The public secondary schools are under the jurisdiction of regional government, the counties. Denmark. In Denmark it is mandatory to receive education answering to the basic school syllabus until the 10th year of school education. Since 2009 it has been compulsory to also attend preschool. Furthermore, pupils can choose an 11th year of school. After the basic school, the majority of pupils between ages 15 and 19 usually choose to go through the 3-year gymnasium, which is university preparatory. Youngsters not attending the gymnasium most commonly attend vocational training. There are over 100 different vocational courses in Denmark. Egypt, the secondary school, or publicly known as Thanoya Amot, is a 3 years program after which the student, according to his score in the final year, 2 years previously, can join a higher level of education in a university or, when the score is less, an institution of education that issues a degree not equal with the university one. Finland. The Finnish education system is a comparatively egalitarian Nordic system. This means, for example, no tuition fees for full-time students and free meals are served to pupils. There are private schools, but they are made unattractive by legislation. The second-level education is not compulsory, but an overwhelming majority attends. There is a choice between upper secondary school and vocational school. Graduates of both upper secondary school and vocational school can apply to study in further education. Upper secondary school, unlike vocational school, concludes with a nationally graded matriculation examination. Passing the test is a de facto prerequisite for further education. The system is designed so that approximately the lowest scoring 5% fails and also 5% get the best grade. The exam allows for a limited degree of specialization in either natural sciences or social sciences. The graduation is an important informal family event, like christening, wedding, and funeral. In the OECD's International Assessment of Student Performance, PISA, Finland has consistently been among the highest scorers worldwide. In 2003, Finnish 15-year-olds came first in reading literacy, science, and mathematics, and second in problem-solving, worldwide. The World Economic Forum ranks Finland's tertiary education number 1 in the world. The Global Competitiveness Report 2006 Euro 2007, Country Highlights. World Economic Forum. Retrieved January 22, 2007 Germany. The German school system is free and compulsory until 9th grade. After the Grundschule, teachers recommend each pupil for one of 3 different types of secondary education. Parents have the final say about which school their child will attend. Hauptschule, designed for students going into trades such as construction. Complete after 9th or 10th grade. During apprenticeships, pupils then attend Berufsschule, a dual education vocational high school. The Hauptschule has been subject to significant criticism, as it tends to segregate the children of immigrants with schoolmates whose German is also poor, leading to a cycle of poverty. Realschule, designed for students who want to apprentice for white-collar jobs not requiring university studies, such as banking. Complete after 10th grade. Those who change their minds and decide to attend university can proceed after testing to gymnasium, academic preparatory school for pupils planning to attend universities or polytechnics. Some offer a classical education, while others concentrate on economics and the like. The curriculum leading to the Abita degree were recently reduced from 13th grade to 12th grade. The Gesamtschule, a mixed abilities school, puts all pupils in a single building, combining the 3 main types. These are still quite rare. Students with special needs are assigned to Paragraph Radisschule. Hong Kong. Secondary school, college, secondary education in Hong Kong is largely based on the British education system. Secondary school starts in the 7th year, or Form 1, of formal education, after primary 6. Students normally spend 5 years in secondary schools, of which the first 3 years are compulsory like primary education. Forms 4 and 5 students prepare for the Hong Kong Certificate of Education examination, which takes place after Form 5. Students obtaining a satisfactory grade will be promoted to Form 6. They then prepare for the Hong Kong Advanced Level examination, which is to be taken after Form 7. The HKALE and HKCEE results will be considered by universities for admission. Some secondary schools in Hong Kong are called colleges. In some schools, Form 6 and Form 7 are also called Lower 6 and Upper 6 respectively. The HKCE is equivalent to the British GCSE and HKALE is equivalent to the British A-level. As of October 2004, there has been heated discussion on proposed changes in the education system, which includes reduction of the duration of secondary education from 7 years to 6 years, and merging the two exams HKCE and HKALE into one exam, Hong Kong Diploma of Secondary Education. The proposed changes will take effect in 2009. The secondary education system of Hong Kong, just as other East Asian countries, is examination-oriented. This does the strong but controversial post-school tutorial education industry a favor. India. In India, before the Indian constitutional amendment in 2002, Article 45 of the Constitution was a Euro Art 45. Provision for free and compulsory education for children a Euro the state shall endeavour to provide, within a period of 10 years from the commencement of this Constitution, for free and compulsory education for all children until they complete the age of 14 years a Euro but that constitutional obligation was time and again deferred, first to 1970 and then to 1980, 1990 and 2000. The 10th Five-Year Plan visualizes that India will achieve the universal elementary education by 2007. However, the Union Human Resource Development Minister announced in 2001 that India will achieve this target only by 2010. Bill 2002, renumbered as the Constitution Act, 2002, which was passed on December 12, 2002 stated, an act further to amend the Constitution of India. Be it enacted by Parliament in the 53rd year of the Republic of India as follows. 1. Short title and commencement. This act may be called the Constitution Act, 2002. It shall come into force on such date as the central government may, by notification in the Official Gazette, appoint. 2. Insertion of new Article 21A after Article 21 of the Constitution, the following article shall be inserted, namely right to education. Art 21A. The state shall provide free and compulsory education to all children of the age of 6 to 14 years in such manner as the state may, by law, determine. 3. Substitution of new article for Article 45. For Article 45 of the Constitution, the following article shall be substituted, namely, provision for early childhood care and education to children below the age of 6 years. Art 45. The state shall endeavour to provide early childhood care and education for all children until they complete the age of 6 years. 4. Amendment of Article 51A, Ireland. In Ireland secondary school starts at the age of 12, and lasts through or optionally 5 or 6 years. The main types of secondary school are community schools, comprehensive schools, colleges, vocational schools, voluntary secondary schools and main schooliana. After 3 years, every student takes a compulsory state exam known as the junior certificate. Typically a student will sit exams in 9 to 11 subjects. English, Irish and mathematics are compulsory. After completing the junior certificate, a student may continue for 2 years to take a second state exam, the leaving certificate, around age 17 to 18. Students typically take 6 to 8 subjects. Except in exceptional circumstances, subjects taken must include Irish, English, a foreign language and mathematics. Leaving certificate results directly determine admission to university via a ranking system managed by the CAO. More than 80% of students who complete the junior certificate continue to the leaving certificate. There is an optional year in many secondary schools in Ireland known as transition year, which some students choose to take after completing the junior certificate, and before starting the leaving certificate. Focusing on broadening horizons, the year is often structured around student projects such as producing a magazine, charity work, running a small business, etc. Regular classes may be mixed with classes on music, drama, public speaking, etc. Transition year is not formally examined but student progress is monitored by teachers on a continuous basis. Programs vary from school to school. This year also focuses on giving the children an insight into the working world through work experience placements. In addition to the main school system, Ireland is a parallel system of vocational schools, which place less focus on academic subjects and more on vocational and technical skills. Around 25% of students attend these. Many vocational schools also offer night classes to adults. There is also a prominent movement known as Gaelscoileanna where every subject is taught through the Irish language, and these are growing fast in number. Italy. Secondary school starts at age 11, after 5 years of primary school, and lasts 8 years. Secondary school is divided in 3 + 5 years, according to the following scheme: Scuola Secondaria di Primo Grado, it is mandatory and lasts 3 years. It is a common program for all pupils, and covers all the classical subjects. It ends with a final exam, which awards a diploma. Scuola Secondaria di Secondo Grado, it lasts 5 years and offers a number of different paths, which can freely be chosen by the pupil. The first 2 years are mandatory. All paths offers a basic knowledge of Italian and Latin languages and literature, history, geography, philosophy, mathematics, physics, biology, chemistry, and foreign language. There are 3 different high schools in Italy, Liceo mostly theoretical and humanities-oriented. Istituto Tecnico, originally reserved for those who sought a highly qualified work, but today is used as a more scientific technical route to access university. Istituto Professionale, mainly vocational school which offers a very specialized formation on a specific field for those looking into entering work. All kind of secondary schools end with an examination whose score is on a 100-point scale. Iraq. Secondary education in Iraq comprises 2 stages, each ending in baccalaureate examination, intermediate 3 years, preparatory 3 years. No student is admitted to college in Iraq before passing the baccalaureate examination held by this ministry for preparatory schools. The maximum obtainable mark is 100, the minimum passing mark is 50. Republic of Macedonia. High school in Republic of Macedonia is called NN Euro TH Micron TH 1/2 TH 3/4 N Florin N TH NN TH Micron, or middle school, and the structure is left from the Socialists' period. Reforms are conducting at the moment, so the education would be appropriate with the most of the leading world countries. That means that there are still many forms. In general there is high school for preparing for every faculty on the university. There are, electrotechnical high school, mechanical high school, economics high school, pharmaceutical, medical, and natural sciences and linguistics gymnasium. The high school is attended between the years of 14 and 18. Malaysia. The national secondary education in Malaysia, modelled after the English system, consists of 5 school years referred to as forms. Students begin attending secondary schools in the year they turn 13, after sitting for the UPSR at the end of primary school. Students failing the academic requirement in UPSR are required to read an additional year called the remove year before they are allowed to proceed to Form 1. Automatic promotion up to Form 5 has been in place since 1996. Some secondary schools offer an additional 2 years known as Sixth Form, divided into Lower Sixth and Upper Sixth. Forms 1 to 3 are known as Lower Secondary, while Forms 4 and 5 are known as Upper Secondary. Streaming into art, science or commerce streams is done at the beginning of the upper secondary stage. Students sit for a standardized test at the end of both stages. Penilaian Menengah for lower secondary, and Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia for upper secondary. At the end of the 6th form, students sit for the Sijil Tinggi Pelajaran Malaysia or the Malaysian Higher School Certificate. The language of instruction in national secondary schools is Malay except for language, science and mathematics subjects. Science and mathematics subjects are taught in English since 2003, but Malay will be reintroduced in stages from 2012. Nepal. Nepal ranks 11th in quality education in the world. Tribhuvan International University and the British College are the worldwide known institutions. Secondary education, duration in Nepal was 7.00 as of 2012. Its highest value over the past 42 years was 7.00 in 2012, while its lowest value was 5.00 in 1970. Definition: secondary education, duration is the number of grades in secondary school. Source: United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization Institute for Statistics. Mexico. Lower secondary education is considered part of basic education in Mexico and is compulsory. For entry, students are required to have successfully completed 6 years of primary education. The next stage, upper secondary education or preparation school, became compulsory since 2012 and has 3 pathways: general upper secondary, technical professional education, and technological upper secondary. As it has been called bachillerato, it has been frequently confused with the USA bachelor's level, which is called licenciatura o ingeniería in Latin American countries. Well, not all, as in Venezuela, the USA bachelor's level is referred to as doctor. Education around the world, Mexico. ed.gov. Retrieved September 25, 2011. Netherlands. In the Netherlands, high school is called middelbare school and starts right after the 6th grade of primary school. The pupils who attend high school are around the age of 12. Because education in the Netherlands is compulsory between the ages of 4 and 16, all pupils must attend high school. The high schools are part of the Voortgezet Onderwijs. The Voortgezet Onderwijs consists of 3 main streams: VMBO, which has 4 grades and is subdivided over several levels; HAVO, which has 5 grades, and VWO, which has 6 grades. The choice for a particular stream is made based on the scores of an aptitude test, the advice of the grade 6 teacher, and the opinion of the pupil's parents or caretakers. It is possible to switch between streams. After completing a particular stream, a pupil can continue in the penultimate year of the next stream, from VMBO to HAVO, and from HAVO to VWO. Successfully completing a particular stream grants access to different levels of tertiary education. After VMBO, a pupil can continue training at the MBO. A HAVO diploma allows for admission to the BO, which are universities of professional education. Only with VWO can a pupil enter into a research university. New Zealand. In New Zealand, students attend secondary school from the ages from about 13 to 18. Formerly known as Forms 3 to 7, these grades are now known as Years 9 to 13. Schooling is compulsory until the student's 15th or 16th birthday. In some areas of the country, secondary school is colloquially known as college. NCEA is the government-supported school qualification. New Zealand also has intermediate schools, but these cover the last 2 years of primary education and are not secondary schools. Pakistan. Secondary education in Pakistan begins from grade 9 and lasts for 4 years. Upon completion of grade 10, students are expected to take a standardized test administered by a regional board of intermediate and secondary education. Upon successful completion of this examination, they are awarded a secondary school certificate. This locally termed as matriculation certificate or matric for short. Students then enter a college and complete grades 11 and 12. Upon completion of grade 12, they again take a standardized test which is also administered by the regional boards. Upon successful completion of this test, students are awarded the higher secondary certificate. This level of education is also called the FSCICS or intermediate. There are many streams students can choose for their 11 and 12 grades, such as pre-medical, pre-engineering, humanities, computer science and commerce. Some technical streams have recently been introduced for grades 11 and 12. Alternative qualifications in Pakistan are also available but not maintained by the BISE but by other examination boards. Most common alternative is the General Certificate of Education, where SSC and HSC are replaced by ordinary level and advanced level respectively. Other qualifications include IGCSE which replaces SSC. GCEO level, IGCSE and GCE as a level are managed by British examination boards of CIE of the Cambridge Assessment and Edexcel of the Pearson plc. Advanced placement is an alternative option but much less common than GCE or IGCSE. This replaces the secondary school education as high school education instead. AP exams are monitored by a North American Examination Board, College Board, and can only be given under supervision of centers which are registered with the College Board, unlike GCE OA level and IGCSE, which can also be given privately. Paraguay. In Paraguay, the secondary education is called Educación Cubed en Media. After 9 years of Educación Cubed en Escola Básica, the student can choose to go to either a Bachillerato Técnico or a Bachillerato Científico. Both are part of the Educación Cubed en Media system. These two forms of secondary education last 3 years, and are usually located in the same campus called Colegio. The Bachillerato Técnico combine general education with some specific subjects, referred to as pre-vocational education and career orientation. Some of the fields are mechanical, electricity, commerce, construction, business administration, etc. After completing secondary education, one can enter to the universities. It is also possible for a student to choose both Técnico and Científico schooling. Poland. Portugal. See High School in Portugal, Russia. There were around 60,000 general education schools in 2007, a Euro 2008 school year. Statistics, number of schools by type and year. Ministry of Education and Science, October 6, 2008. This number includes circa 5,000 advanced learning schools specializing in foreign languages, mathematics, etc., 2,300 advanced general-purpose schools, those identified as Russian, th 1 quarter, th 1 half, th degree, th and th micron, th, gymnasiums and lyceums, and 1,800 schools for all categories of disabled children. It does not include vocational technical school and technicums. Private schools accounted for 0.3% of elementary school enrollment in 2005 and 0.5% in 2005. Education for all by 2015, pages 284, according to a 2005 UNESCO report, 96% of the adult population has completed lower secondary schooling and most of them also have an upper secondary education. Singapore. Children attend primary school for the first 6 levels, then secondary schools for the next 4/5 levels, which is followed by either junior college for 2-year courses or centralized institutes for 3-year courses. Based on results of the primary school leaving examination, Singapore's students undergo secondary education in either the special, express, normal streams or the integrated program. Both the special and express are 4-year courses leading up to a Singapore-Cambridge General Certificate of Education ordinary O-level examination. The difference between special and express is that the former takes higher mother tongue, which can be used as a first language in exams instead of the subject mother tongue that express students take. However, if some express students can cope with higher mother tongue, they are allowed to use it as a first language in exams too. The normal stream is a 4-year course leading up to a Singapore-Cambridge GCE normal N-level examination, with the possibility of a 5th year followed by a Singapore-Cambridge GCE ordinary O-level examination. It is split into normal and normal, wherein the latter students take subjects that are technical in nature, such as design and technology. The integrated program is a 6-year program offered to the top 10% of the cohort to pass through the O-level exams, and go straight to the affiliated JC. After the second year of a secondary school course, students are typically streamed into a wide range of course combinations, making the total number of subjects they have to sit for in O-level 6 to 10 subjects. This includes science, humanities and additional mathematics subject at a higher level, or combined subject modules. Some schools have done away with the O-level examination, and pupils only sit for the A-level examination or the International Baccalaureate at the end of their 6th year. Co-curricular activities have become compulsory at the secondary level, where all pupils must participate in at least one course CCA, and participation is graded together with other things like leadership throughout the 4 years of secondary education, in a scoring system. Competitions are organized so that students can have an objective towards to work, and in the case of musical groups, showcase talents. Co-curricular activities. Archived from the original on August 29, 2007. Retrieved September 7, 2007, Slovenia. In Slovenia, a variety of high school institutions for secondary education exists. One can choose in accordance with his or her interests, abilities and beliefs. The majority of them are public and government-funded, although there are some diocesan upper secondary schools and a Waldorf upper secondary school, which are private and require tuition to be paid. Upper secondary schools are the most elite and the most difficult high school programs, intended for the best students that wish to pursue university education in the future. They are further divided into general upper secondary schools, classical upper secondary schools, technical upper secondary schools for arts, and upper secondary schools for business. They all last for 4 years and conclude with a compulsory leaving examination that is a prerequisite for studying at universities. Their curricula include a wide range of subjects that should deliver a broad general knowledge. Technical high schools last for 4 years and cover a wide range of disciplines. They end with a vocational leaving examination and allow pupils to study at vocational or professional colleges. Vocational high schools come in 2 varieties, the dual and in-school-based program. For the former, the apprenticeship is provided by employers, while the practical training for the latter is offered in school. Both of them complete with a final examination. Students may continue their education in the 2-year vocational technical program, which prepares them for vocational leaving exam if they want to pursue higher education. The leaving exam course is a 1-year program, intended for vocational leaving exam graduates. After completing leaving exam course, they take the leaving examination, which makes them eligible for university education. The vocational course is a 1-year program provided to upper secondary school students who, for various reasons, do not want to continue their education. It concludes with the final examinations, qualifying the applicants for a selected occupation. Spain. Secondary education in Spain is called Educación Cubed en Secundaria Obligatoria, usually known as ESO, and lasts for 4 years. As its name indicates, every Spanish citizen must, by law, attend secondary education when they arrive at the defined age. The state is also committed to guaranteeing every student the possibility of attending it, and also at a state-run school if so demanded. Turkey. Secondary education includes all of the general, vocational and technical education institutions that provide at least 4 years of education after primary school. The system for being accepted to a high school changes almost every year. Sometimes private schools have different exams, sometimes there are 3 exams for 3 years, sometimes there's only 1 exam but it is calculated differently, sometimes they only look at your school grades. Secondary education aims to give students a good level of common knowledge, and to prepare them for higher education, for a vocation, for life and for business in line with their interests, skills and abilities. In the academic year 2001-2002, 2.3 million students were being educated and 134,800 teachers were employed in 6,000 education institutions. General secondary education covers the education of children between 15 to 18 for at least 4 years after primary education. General secondary education includes high schools, foreign language teaching high schools, Anatolian high schools of science, Anatolia teacher training high schools, and Anatolia fine arts high schools. 8. Vocational and technical secondary education involves the institutions that both raise student as manpower in business and other professional areas, prepare them for higher education and meet the objectives of general secondary education. Vocational and technical secondary education includes technical education schools for boys, technical education schools for girls, trade and tourism schools, religious education schools, multi-program high schools, special education schools, private education schools and health education schools. Secondary education is often referred as high school education, since the schools are called lyceum. Ukraine. United Kingdom, main articles, education in the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom, secondary schools offer secondary education covering the later years of schooling. State secondary schools in England and Wales are classed as either grammar schools, comprehensive schools, city technology colleges or academies. Within Scotland, there are only two types of state-run schools, Roman Catholic or non-denominational. Most secondary schools in England and Wales are comprehensive schools. Grammar schools have been retained in some counties in England. Academies are a new type of school introduced in 2000 by the new Labour government of Tony Blair. Independent secondary schools generally take pupils at 13. The table below lists the equivalent secondary school year systems used in the United Kingdom. Private schools in England and Wales generally still refer to years 7 to 11 as first-fifth form, or alternatively private schools refer to year 7 as IDS. Y8 as LIV, Y9 as UIV, Y10 as LV, Y11 as UV and then sixth form. England, Wales and Northern Ireland, education in England, Wales, Northern Ireland. In England, Wales and Northern Ireland, students usually transfer from primary school straight to secondary school at age 11. In a few parts of the UK there are middle schools for ages 9 to 13, and upper schools for ages 13 to Euro 18. A handful of 8 to 12 middle schools, and 12 to 16 or 18 secondary schools still exist. These schools were first introduced in September 1968, and the number rose dramatically during the 1970s, but the number of such schools has declined since the mid-1980s. It is uncommon, but sometimes secondary schools can also be split into upper and lower secondary schools. Education is compulsory up until the end of year 11, and schooling can continue for a further 2 years after that. Traditionally the 5 years of compulsory secondary schooling from ages 11 to 16 were known as first year through to fifth year, but from September 1990 these years were renumbered year 7 through to year 11 with the coming of the national curriculum. After year 11 a student can opt to remain at school, transfer to a college, or to leave education and seek work or to start an apprenticeship. Those who stay at school enter years 12 and 13. These years are traditionally known as the sixth form, and require students to specialize in 3 to 5 subjects for their A-levels. In ever-increasing numbers since the 1990s some students also undertake more vocational courses at college such as a BTEC or other such qualification. This is an unusually specialized curriculum for this age group by international standards, and recently some moves have been made to increase the number of subjects studied. After attaining the relevant A-level qualifications the student can enter university. Scotland. In Scotland, students usually transfer from primary to secondary education at 12 years old. A Guide to Education and Training in Scotland. A World of Opportunity. Edinburgh, Scottish Government. Retrieved October 17, 2012. The first and second years of secondary school is a continuation of the 5 to 14 curriculum started in primary school. After which students choose which subjects they wish to study with certain compulsory subjects such as English and mathematics for S3 and S4. These are called standard grades, but some schools use intermediates which take 2 years to complete with an exam at the end of S4. After standard grades intermediates, some students leave to gain employment or attend further education colleges, however nowadays most students study for hires, of which 5 are usually studied. These take a year to complete. After which some students decide to apply for university or stay on for 6th year, where other hires are gained, or advanced hires are studied. Due to the nature of schooling in Scotland, undergraduate honours degree programs are 4 years long as matriculation is normally at the completion of hires in S5, which compares with 3 years for the rest of the UK. As well as instruction through the English language education, Gaelic medium education is also available throughout Scotland. United States. As part of education in the United States, secondary education comprises grades 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 through 12. This varies among school districts. Grades 9 through 12 is the most common grade structure for high school. Vietnam, high school in Vietnam, called Trung Ha Si Pha Ng, is mandated for children from the age of 16 to 18. In high school, students have 12 compulsory subjects to learn including literature, mathematics, chemistry, physics, biology, history, geography and foreign language. For each of which, there are 2 levels of study, basic and advanced. They are divided into 5 groups. Basic group, all subjects are in basic level. Group A, mathematics, physics and chemistry are in advanced level. Group B, mathematics, chemistry and biology are in advanced level. Group C, literature, history and geography are in advanced level. Group D, mathematics, literature and foreign language are in advanced level. Students will graduate from high school if they pass the graduation test of 6 subjects. If not, they must wait for a year to retake the test. Names for secondary education by country: Argentina, Secundaria or Polymodal, Escola Secundaria, Australia, high school, secondary college, Austria, gymnasium, Hauptschule, Paragraph hier Bundeslehranstalt, Paragraph hier Technische Lehranstalt, ASE unregistered trademark Rebeccan, Automi unregistered trademark KTE unregistered trademark B, Bahamas, the, Junior High, Senior High, Belgium, Middelbare School, Secundair onderwijs, Humanura, a copyright Col Secundaire, Humanita copyright S, Bolivia, Educația den Primaria Superior and Educația den Secundaria, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Srednja Angstrom Kola, Gimnasia, Brazil, Ensino Mar copyright Do, Colegio, Secundu Grau. Bulgaria, th 1 quarter th 1 half th degree thn, th micron th to the first, Chile, in C plus or minus Anza Media. Colombia, Bachillerato, Segunda in C plus or minus Anza, literally second learning, People's Republic of China, Zhangzhou, consisting of Chutzung from grades 7 to 9 and Gaotsung from grades 10 to 12, Canada, high school, secondary school, a copyright Col Secundaire, Liquor copyright E, Collegiate Institute, Polyvalent, Croatia, Srednja Angstrom Kola, Gimnasia, Cyprus, II 1 quarter I 1 half I Florin I to the first I, Gymnasium, II 1 half I to the first I plus or minus II micron I to the first I Czech Republic, Star and registered trademark Edna. Angstrom Kola, Gymnasium, Star and registered trademark Edna Odbina copyright Waiiliata, Denmark, Gymnasium, Estonia, Gymnasium, Lyceum, Finland, Lukio Gymnasium, France, College E, Liquor copyright E, Germany, Gymnasium, Gesamtschule, Realschule, Hauptschule, Fachhochschule, Greece, II 1 quarter I 1 half I Florin I to the first I, Gymnasium, II micron I 1 half I to the first I micron I to the first I 1 half I to the first I plus or minus II micron I to the first I, Hong Kong, secondary school, Hungary. Gymnasium, Car paragraphs are copyright Piska, Saka paragraphs are copyright Piska, Iceland, Framhalskukub Lee, India, secondary school, Indonesia, Sekolah Menengah Atas, Sekolah Menengah Pertama, Sekolah Menengah Kejuruan, Italy, Scuola Secondaria di Primo Grado plus Scuola Secondaria di Secondo Grado, Liceo and Istituto Tecnico. Japan, Kagaka, Targaka, Kaya Ikugaka, in the pre-Meiji educational system, the equivalent was called Ka-Seri. South Korea, I-currency E plus or minus E micron IO, comprising I-currency I unregistered trademark E micron and E cubed E plus or minus I unregistered trademark E micron. Liechtenstein, Gymnasium, Lithuania, Vidarina, Mokaikala, Gymnasia, Lika, Jus, Malaysia, secondary school or Sekolah Menengah, sometimes high school is used, Malta, Scola Secundaria or secondary school, Mexico, Educația den Secundaria y Preparatoria, Netherlands, Middelbare School or Voortgezet onderwijs, New Zealand, high school, college or secondary school, Norway. Videregående skole, Paraguay, Educación den Media, Peru, Educación Secundaria or Escola Secundaria, Philippines, high school or materna paralan, Poland, Gymnasium, Lyceum, Portugal, 2 a ciclo do ensino básico, 3 a ciclo do ensino básico, and ensino secundario, Liceu, Romania, Gymnasiu, Liceu, Russia, NN Euro TH Micron TH 1/2 NNN TH 3/4 TH degree, Serbia, Gymnasium, Professional Schools, Vocational Schools, Spain, Educación den Secundaria, composed of 2 cycles, ESO and Bachillerato. Formerly, primary education comprised up to the 8th grade and the secondary education was composed of 2 non-compulsory cycles, BUP and COU, Sweden, Gymnasium, Switzerland, Gymnasium, Secondary School, College Eolic or Copyright E, Taiwan, Junior High School, Senior High School, Vocational High School, Military School, and Complete High School. Turkey, Lies, United Kingdom, Secondary School, Ukraine, NTH Micron N Euro TH Micron TH 1/2 NTH 3/4 NTH squared NNTH degree, United States, high school is always considered secondary education. Junior high school or middle school are sometimes considered secondary education. Uruguay, Liceo or Secundaria, Biology, Science, and Art. Vietnam, Trung Ha Si Phair Tho Ng. Egypt, Thanoia Emma. See also: Education Index, Category, Secondary Education by country. For secondary education in individual countries, List of colleges and universities by country, List of the oldest schools in the world, List of schools by country, References.